What's up, Pokerbrandon here. Let's talk about a 5-5 no-limit hold'em hand I played at the Gardens Casino in Hawaiian Gardens, California. In this hand, I had King Queen of Hearts, and it started off with a limp from the UTG. He seemed to be limping a little bit, not too much. He was pretty passive. Low Jack also limps, which was kind of weird because pretty tight aggressive player. And then the hijack opens to 30. Now, before we talk about this hand, just so you know, I'm not going to get into the details because I'm going to post it after this hand, but I just stacked the hijack. And I just realized my chip count is wrong. I had about 1,200 in front of me. I may or may not post it actually, but I just stacked them previously in the consecutive hand previously to this. So I end up making the call here, and the one thing you should know about the hijack is his VPIP was probably, I would say the lowest, but there was a player to my left who didn't play a single hand for about 30 minutes. So this player played maybe 2 or 3 hands in an hour. And I just stacked him previously, but yeah, he opens to 30, so I don't 3-bet him because of that reason, that I know he's a tight player. Big blind calls, UTG calls, low jack calls, and we end up going 5 ways to a flop. It's not the best spot, but at least I am suited with a hand that could flop well. I don't flop entirely well. I flop semi-decent. Hijack bets 50. But because I'm in position and I think he could be tilted from our previous hand, I think he could have more ace highs here now in this spot. I think he could have ace king, ace queen, ace jack. So because I feel like he could have more ace highs, I think it's okay in this spot to float and make a call and see what he does on the turn. Because I have 2 overs and a gut shot to the nuts, I could still hit a lot of hearts on the turn that will give me a reason to bet and bluff if I have to, if he checks. So I call the 50, and only UTG also calls the 50, and we go 3 ways to a turn. Turn is a beautiful nut jack. So that gives me a straight 9-10 jack queen king, that is the nuts, and they check it to me. So it checks, and then actually hijack tank checks. He tanks for about 15 seconds before checking, and it did not that wasn't a normal check. So his pacing was pretty quick, I would say. Probably he would put out a bet within 5 to 10 seconds. So when he tank checks, I think he actually has a good hand, but he decides to check it for security, to be safe. I end up betting 150 because I need to get value from any overpairs or a pair if he does have it, or diamond draw. And only he calls, and we go to a 9 of hearts on the turn. And after pretty quickly, about 10 seconds, my opponent checks. Now here, I actually am making this video line up with exactly the amount of time that it took me to act. So what you're gonna get from the point where the hijack checked now is you're gonna get the exact amount of time that I believe it took me to put out a bet. I am gonna bet here, but I did not know if I should bet right away. I actually had to think this one through, and I was staring at the hijack a little bit to see if I can get any tells from him, because he called me down on the turn. And I don't think he's the type of player to gamble and call with draws. So I felt like when he called me on the turn, he has something that he does not want to raise. Doesn't feel like it was strong enough to c-bet on the turn, but it was strong enough to check call. Now I feel like this is just like aces, maybe kings, maybe queens, but it could be jacks and it could be tens. So I pretty much was just looking at him and watching him a little bit and just trying to decide if this was a spot where I wanted to put out the all-in and take his 285 if he has aces or kings or queens, or do I play it safe and do I just check? And there's one thing that I like that I actually heard recently that I think came into effect here in this hand. I forget which video it was, but it was either Phil Galfond or Charlie Carell, or yeah, one of them had a saying that said, if it's your time to die, it's your time to die, so just put out the bet. So that's what I do. I sort of put out 285 right about after 2 minutes, and then hijack tanked for about 30 seconds before he ends up making the call and mucking after I show my king, queen of hearts. So I do like that saying that I heard from Charlie Carell or Phil Galfond, and it was just like, if you have a hand that's really strong and you're worried about like the second nuts, or in this spot here I was worried about a set of tens or quads or pocket jacks. If it turns out he had those hands, it's just my time to die. It's my turn to die. I'm Pokerbrandon, and I'm out.